Hello, and welcome back to the Teach the Children podcast. I'm your host, Laura Battles, and this week I want to talk to you about two different things. The first one about one of these all-in-one curriculums that I have been using on and off over the last few years, and we'll dive into that here in a minute. That's what all this is over here on this table. But the second thing I want to talk to you guys about is making sure, just real quickly, that you're taking care of yourself. This is the time of year where a lot of us can get overwhelmed and we put too much on our plate, and then we want to throw it all to the birds and we want to give up. So just want to remind all us moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and whoever is at home teaching the kids to also take care of yourself, to slow down a little bit and to enjoy these moments, these beginning of the school year moments. Take it all in and enjoy it. If you've been watching me on Instagram and Facebook, you know that my family has just come back from a week-long trip through Yellowstone with Vicki and Patrick Nuri out of Wapato. They own Northwest Treasures, and they're at the convention. I absolutely love them. I love their business. I love working with them. But Patrick took us on this tour through Yellowstone. We got into a caravan, and each car went along, and he was our tour guide through Yellowstone, and it was absolutely fabulous. We learned so much about Yellowstone, but it was just a nice way to slow down as a family, get together, and just enjoy a week with no cell phones, with no cameras. I mean, I had my camera to take pictures, but I couldn't upload or get on the internet during the day. I had to do it all at night, and it was wonderful to just be able to disconnect from sun up to sundown. But during that trip, I also developed blood clots in my legs and had to go to the emergency room. And I am slightly more prone to these things because of I have really bad varicose veins, just transparency here. And so it was just a good reminder for myself to slow down. I have been so busy lately getting the resource center up and running, getting the convention up and going, getting my own kids' homeschool going for the year, all those things. And it just takes one thing to just knock it all over. And luckily, I'm okay. We went through all the emergency room. We had to go get an ultrasound before I could take the trip home to make sure everything was good. But things could easily have gone not in our favor. And so I just want to remind all us moms and dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, whomever is taking care of all the kids, whoever is taking care of all the responsibilities, take care of yourself. Put aside some time once a week and take it for yourself, just so that your well-being is, you don't get overwhelmed, you don't get sick, all those things, because you can't homeschool if you're not there. And that was what my husband kept reminding me as I kept being like, I'm fine, no big deal, we'll just rub some dirt in it. I'm fine, everything's okay, we don't need to go to the emergency room. He was like, Laura, you cannot homeschool if you're not around. And you can't take care of these children, you can't take care of me, you can't serve the purpose that God has you here if you don't take care of yourself. And so just a reminder, take care of yourself. With that note, I'm okay. Everything went fine. We got to visit a backcountry emergency room, which was really fun because our emergency room here, if you ever walked into them, they're always busy and overwhelming. And this one was a wonderful emergency room visit. I would almost drive 10 hours to go back to them next time. I won't. I don't want to go to another emergency room. But it was just a good reminder to take care of yourselves so that you can take care of those around you. On that note, I'm going to have everybody pause here for a moment. Go out and like and subscribe this podcast. Give it a 5-star rating if you think we deserve it. And share this podcast with your friends, especially those who are considering homeschooling or maybe who are going to homeschool, but they don't know what curriculum or what resources are out there. Send them this way. Share these podcasts with them so they can be encouraged to move forward with their homeschooling. All right. Now the real reason for this episode. I use Sonlight for our history, Bible, and literature. And in the past, I've also used it for science and language arts. I'm not using it for those two subjects this year, and I'm also not really using it for Bible this year, but I'm just throwing in a few things as I go along, and I think, we'll use that, and that's important. I've sort of, every year is a little bit different, but that's what we're doing this year. When I first started at HomeLink, I could not use Sonlight. I had to use its companion BookShark because that's what's approved by in the state of Washington. Sonlight has the Bible in it, and some of the books are more Christian literature, and so you can't use that through HomeLink and MCP. You have to use its companion. But when my friend and I sat down and we compared the two at the same levels, pretty much everything was the same except a few books and a few like copy passages. So if you are looking for an all-in-one program, I would point you to Sonlight or BookShark. Now, BookShark, like its name implies, is for families who really like to read books. It is very book heavy. It is very reader heavy. There's not as many craft projects involved in it. Not to say that you can't add your own craft projects to this to make it your own. However, the true Sonlight in itself is just more about books and reading. My family likes to read, so much so that I was taking books away from my son during the Yellowstone trip that we were just on because he wanted to read at times instead of doing the geology trip. So I was like, no, we're here for this. You have to do the geology. You can read on the 10, 11, 12-hour trip home. But that's how much we love reading in this house. The very first year we did homeschool, we did Moving Beyond the Pages, which is another great all-in-one curriculum. It's just a lot more hands-on project-y. And for me, it was a nightmare. We had craft projects everywhere, glue, glitter. I about lost my ever-loving mind. But if that is something that you and your family love to do, I would choose Moving Beyond the Pages over BookShark. So it's really just whatever is a best fit for your family. So with that said, I was going to show you guys a little bit of what goes on in BookShark / Sonlight. So again, they are companions. You can use them interchangeably. They're both on the same website. Well, no, excuse me. BookShark has its own website and Sonlight has its own website, but the publisher is the same. What you get is this lovely, huge, thick binder. I want to make sure you guys see this lovely, thick binder. And they send this to you. And when you first start, you can buy a new one every year. I don't buy it every year. And I just fill it full of all 36 weeks. So Sonlight / BookShark is for 36 weeks. That's about September to May, June, somewhere in there, depending on when you flex your school year. And you do 1 week a year. And it lays it all out for you. So I'm going to open up this here. For language arts, week 1, I'm going to zoom in. It gives you a list of everything you need to do. So it gives you the spelling you need to do. It gives you the readers you need to read. It gives you the readers, the reading instructions, and then the handwriting. Now you can buy all these extra things or you can switch it out for your own. So if you don't want to do handwriting without tears and you have another handwriting program, just switch it out to whatever else you're using. I used handwriting without tears, so everything sort of seamlessly fit into Sonlight. That's why I really liked it. But this is for like kindergarten, first grade type of level, language arts level 1. So on it, on day 1, which would be Monday of every week, you would introduce words for spelling and you'd go over them. Then you would read like from the I can read list. You would do a quick activity. You would read in the book. See how it says here you read in the I can read, and then you do your handwriting with tears, and it lays it all out for you exactly what pages to do, exactly what books to read in. And then on the next pages, this is all the teacher's instructions in here. I'm flipping through. It actually tells you what to say. So if you're not exactly sure how to teach these subjects, it gives you the words to say, which is great because the very first year I did homeschooling, I didn't know what I was doing. And so when I opened this up and it told me exactly what to say and what to do, it gave me a good launch point to move forward. Now I just sort of use Sonlight because, and you'll see here in a minute, we're doing Eastern Hemisphere and I'll show you that. It helps me break down what books and what chapters for the kids to read each week, what books for me to read out loud each week, and where sort of and it helps me gauge like where we're going and what we're doing and look at the big picture. But so this is Language Arts Level 1. It gives you all the books you can read with your kids. My kids loved reading these books. We did spelling. So like we do all about spelling. This does spelling a little bit different. So I just plucked this out and put in all about spelling in here and just interchanged it and worked it its own way. So that's why I like Sonlight or BookShark. Now with Sonlight and BookShark, you can also choose to do science with it. And here is science. Let me open it up here real quick. Clunk. Level D. And so this is week 1 of Science Level D, if you can see this. It gives you the books you're going to read on each day. It gives you activity sheets, what questions to answer to go with those pages you read. It even tells you the supplies. It gives you the supplies in a box when you order when you order science through them. And then down here and on the back, it gives the parents what to say, where you're going, what you're doing. And then on the other sheet, it also gives you all the answers, which was great because most of the time I could answer the questions without looking at the science answers. But every once in a while, I was like, how is Sonlight wording this? And it really helped me be able to focus my thoughts to the kids. So I didn't, meander. Because sometimes I can get wordy. It's just as true. My kids will sometimes say, Mom, wrap it up, sum it up. So that's why I like science with Sonlight. You read a book, it gives you all the books, and then you answer questions. And then if you want to do the activity, the supply, you do it that way. The one thing I will say, this has science over 4 days, and some of them have science over 5 days. I didn't do science every day. It didn't really work for our family to do a little sprinkle of science throughout the week. So I would do maybe 1 or 2 days of science and just put the important things on those days that I would pull out from what the curriculum wanted us to do. And that worked a lot better. If they wanted to do it on their own, they could. But as far as like time-wise for us, there were some days where if we did a sprinkling of every single subject every single day, we would have gone into 6, 7, 8 hours of school. And that was not what I wanted for our family. So I just chose to do it 1 day a week. Usually Friday was our science day, and that just worked really great. And we just picked out what we wanted to do, and we moved on. So that's science. This year with science, I'm choosing something different. We're going to do a specific subject and dive into it, and I can show that later on another podcast. But I just wanted to show you that Sonlight does have science in it. You can follow each level along. So like if you're doing Language Arts Level 1, they have a Science Level 1, they have Readers Level 1, and that's about kindergarten. And then they would have, Science, Reading, Writing Level 2 for about 2nd grade, and so on and so forth. That's what I like. So this last year and this year, I decided not to do everything and instead just do history, Bible, and literature. And why I did that is because my kids are starting to get all scattered a little bit this last year on where their writing levels were at, where some of their history was at. And so this last year decided to do that. And then this year, what I've done is we're all going to do Eastern Hemisphere. And I'll show you that here in a minute. But because we were scattered, I decided to, instead of getting the whole program, just reduce it down to the 3 main subjects. And that worked great. So what that does with history, Bible, and literature, I'll show you again. Week 1 if you're following on YouTube, it shows you all the stuff for the Bible, the passages the kids are supposed to read, the passages we all read together. It also gives us what we should memorize. And so we did a lot of this memorization of these bigger chunks of passages. This one shows Psalms 8. We, as a family, memorized the whole Psalm 8. And so it broke it down into 2 verses the first week, so on and so forth, until it got through all of it. And now we all know Psalm 8. Then, so that's your Bible. History is this middle section. And this was all the stuff that I was supposed to read to the kids. So when you order it, they send you all the books. And then it breaks it down into pages. So day 1, I was supposed to read pages 1 through 5 of the beginning history book. And then on the American history on day 3, which would be our Wednesday. If you don't go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can choose whatever day 1, 2, 3, however you work it out. Then it gives you down here the read alouds. Excuse me. The read aloud. So this is what we would read every night before bed. So I would take this. I'd have all the kids at nighttime, about 8 o'clock, from 8 to 8:30. I would read out loud to them. We'd do a quick prayer time and just regroup as a family, and then they would go to bed. And then shortly thereafter, I would go to bed. But the readers here, it gives them also the readers that they're supposed to read. There for a while, I was having my kids, because the 2 oldest ones were at the same reading level, I would have them each read a couple of pages back and forth. Total transparency, I would fall asleep on the couch listening to them read out loud to me. It was horrible. I never knew if they were getting it. There was no retention because I was sitting in the corner snoozing, not because of anything other than if you get me on the couch and have me sit down for 3 seconds, I'm going to fall asleep. So what I decided to do instead is they each read what they're supposed to. So if they were supposed to read here, the forward in chapter 1 and 2, I would have my daughter go read it while my son was doing math. And then when she was done, she would bring it to me. My son would go read it while my daughter was doing math. And then they would come back and they would talk to me about what they read. And I would also pre-read the books. So that way I knew that they were right where they were supposed to be. And that helped. It helped me not to take an afternoon nap every day, which I did sort of miss. But it also helped make sure everybody retained the information and be able to summarize it back to me. So that's how we did it. And that's probably what we're going to do again this year with the read aloud, with their readers, just because there's 2 of them doing the books. And then my youngest, I have him on a different set of books to read because he's not quite there yet with this like 5th, 6th grade level of books. And I don't want to, squish the love of learning out of him quite yet. But that is History, Bible, Literature. What we're doing this year with Sonlight, and I'm excited about it, I'm a little nervous, is we're doing Eastern Hemisphere. So this is all the Asian countries. And I've seen on a lot of threads that the Sonlight Eastern Asian Hemisphere is one of their best curriculum that they have out there. So I'm really excited to dive into this. And it might take us 2 years to get through this because it is really thick and I really want us to take our time and research all of this. But it's set up the same way as everything else. And we have not started this yet. This year, we're going to start it here in the next week. Again, at the top, it has your Bible that you're supposed to do. So what the kids are reading out loud, what we read together out of the Bible. It has a book that we read together that I'll read, and then it has questions and we talk about them. And again, it has memorization. So the first big chunk of passage we're going to memorize this year is Psalm 91. If it does big chunks of Bible memorizing, I do it. I don't always do when we switch verses week to week because that hops around a lot for us. So I'll go out and get us something else that I feel we should be memorizing. Sometimes the kids bring me passages and they're like, we want to memorize this. And so I'll do those with the kids. But it gives it all laid out right here. And then it has history and geography. So it has us going through the journey of the Eastern Hemisphere. We'll go through that. It has these notebook pages this year, and it is telling me exactly what questions to answer on which day. And because we're doing one workbook as a family with the kids, each kid will answer 1 or 2 questions each day and they'll write in there. So it's going to be a family workbook this year. And then it has some more books we have to read. Then again, it has some books that I will read at night. It also has poetry in there, so I will read the poetry during the middle of the day to them. Sometimes we like the poetry. If we end up not liking this poetry again this year, we'll scrap it and I'll go down to the library and pick up a poetry book that I think we'll all enjoy. But then it has the readers, and my 2 oldest will read this book and talk to me about it. And my youngest, again have him on different books that are his level, and we talk about it. He still reads to me or one of the other 2, and that way I know that he's getting his reading comprehension in and that he's actually knows what he's saying and he's not guessing and going on a lot of the words. But that's what history looks like. But the notebook for a family looks like this. I have it in this binder, Eastern Hemisphere notebook. And in it, it has a map of the Eastern Hemispheres, which is pretty cool. And every Sonlight, every year, if you buy it, has these stickers. These stickers, you cut them out and you put them in a timeline. And so now we have 5 years of worth of a timeline in a notebook. And so as you're going through year to year, you can see things that are happening throughout the year, throughout the world at the same time. And it's really, I find it quite interesting because sometimes you get into history and everything seems really disconnected. But when you put it down on a piece of paper with these stickers, all of a sudden the history comes to life. And you're like, oh, so over here in this side of the world, this was going on. And at the same time, this was going on here. And over here, this was going on. And you can start seeing the threads of things coming together and you can look at the big picture. So I love that. But in the notebook also, so it looks like we're starting with China. Excuse the clicking of the notebook opening and closing. We have all these different pages that we'll go through and these answers. So here's a timeline. We'll do a timeline of China, things that were going on in the different dynasties. They'll have to fill out this map of China. It has writing that they'll learn about. And then at the end of every unit, so every continent or area that we do through the Asian one, you get to choose your own adventure. So there's things in here like make egg rolls, learn calligraphy. Let's see what else is there. Write a nature fact card, learn how to use chopsticks, compose a song that has 5 notes on it, play a game called Play Fishing. And so each kid will get to choose what they want to do. And if they all want to choose the same one, that's totally fine. Or if they all want to do something different, that's what you do. And then after you go through China, the book will lead us into the next area, which is North Korea, followed by Japan. And we go all the way through all the Eastern Hemisphere. We even go into Africa, the Pacific Islands, New Zealand, and looks like we finish off with Antarctica. So I'm really excited for this part with Sonlight. This is one of the reasons I like these all-in-one programs is because I don't have to try to figure it all out myself. If you are the kind of person who can do it all yourself and you're like, hey, I don't need a big all-in-one program because they can get a little bit spendy, and I can just figure it all out myself, then go do it. It is not my strong point. Plus, I don't have a ton of time to sit there and be like, okay, we're going to learn about Eastern Hemisphere and we're going to walk through all these things. And I have to go out and do all the pre-research and I have to figure out what books we're going to read. This is all taking care of everything for me and I don't have to do a lot of extra mental thought on it. So I'll give you some quick tips. If you are going to do Sonlight, obviously you can buy it directly from Sonlight or BookShark. Totally fine. Just know you're going to spend a little bit more money with them, buying it directly through them because everything's brand new. You can also do what I do is go to eBay and so I pull it up on the screen side by side. I look at Sonlight, what we need. I go to eBay. I find the cheapest book that's in the best condition and I buy it that way. And I save a lot of money by buying on eBay. You can also look at all the thrift stores here in town. You can come down, you can borrow from friends. I bought some of our stuff at the used book sale this year, the calligraphy set that this is asking you to get. I wasn't going to buy it because it was wanting me to buy it brand new and it was too expensive out of our budget. But when I went to the used book sale, someone was selling it. So I bought it there. Great, saved me money. There's lots of extras you can buy with these. Don't feel like you have to jump all in and do it. So that's one of the ways you can get this for a little bit cheaper. You can also borrow from someone who's already done it before. You can be like, hey, you loved Eastern Hemisphere and you did all the things. Can I borrow the books from it and then return it, and then swap? Those are great ways to save money on these all-in-one programs. Or maybe you don't do all of it. Maybe you just do history with Sonlight. Maybe you just do Bible with Sonlight. Whatever fits your family the best. But that is just one all-in-one program that I have been using for the last about 5 years. And it just really makes it easy for me to not have to do a ton of extra prep at the beginning of every school year, especially with me doing the resource center and the convention and starting co-op and all those different things. I just help my husband run his business. So all those different things just makes my life a little bit busy. And so the more I can take off of my plate, the better. And it makes life easier. And it makes me, maybe my kids might not say this, but sometimes I think it makes me a little bit more fun to be around when I'm not constantly going. But then also I don't fall asleep on the couch the minute I sit down. So that's nice. I like to sit down with my kids every once in a while and watch movies and not just instantly fall asleep. So this is Sonlight or BookShark. If you have questions, drop it in the comments below. Send me a message. I'd love to answer this and tell you more about this program. Teach the Children is also an affiliate for Sonlight. So what does that mean, affiliate? It means that you can go to my link, which I'll have in the comments. You can click on there and you can buy whatever you want. And what Sonlight does is it gives me a small portion back to teach the children for every dollar spent through them. And it doesn't do much otherwise than that. But any dollars that come into the resource center just help pay the bills, help pay the rent, helps to buy more curriculum so that we can showcase it, gives me the ability to offer more classes, all those things through the Resource Center. Because the Resource Center is a nonprofit, we're always looking for unique ways to bring money in to keep it up and running for you guys. So if you have questions, link it below. Make sure you like and subscribe this podcast. But most importantly, moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, take care of yourself this fall. Don't put too much on your plate. And don't forget that even the minorest thing that you may think, oh, this isn't a big deal, go get it taken care of. Take care of yourself. Don't let it turn into blood clots that run you straight to the emergency room and threaten a family vacation like it almost threatened mine. And thankfully it worked out, but just don't let that happen. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. If you want me to talk about something else or a different curriculum or just any resource here in the Tri-Cities, let me know and I will go do the research. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.